A highly anticipated congressional report into former Congressman Matt Gaetz is now public. Lawmakers on the House Ethics Committee found Gaetz paid tens of thousands of dollars for sex and drugs during his time in office and accepted lavish gifts in violation of ethics rules. The report detailing transactions over a nearly 4-year period. One of the women Gaetz paid was just 17 at the time, though there's no evidence he was aware of her age. The report concluded that Gaetz, quote, violated House rules and other standards of conduct prohibiting prostitution, statutory rape, illicit drug use, impermissible gifts, special favors or privileges, and obstruction of Congress.
Our Navy and Commerce have been treated in a very unfair and injudicious way. The fees being charged by Panama are ridiculous, highly unfair, especially knowing the extraordinary generosity that has been bestowed to Panama, I say very foolishly, by the United States. This complete ripoff of our country will immediately stop. It's going to stop. The United States has a big and vested interest in the secure, efficient, and reliable operation of the Panama Canal.
Hello, I'm Ivanka Trump. Welcome to Trump Ocean Club International Hotel and Tower, Panama.
It was the first Trump-branded tower to go up overseas, with Ivanka Trump pitching it.
Or you can opt to dine on your private balcony.
Luxurious, yes, but like many real estate projects in Panama, also a magnet for dirty money.
And young women, you are magnifying this problem by becoming pornography.
Travis Wayne Goodsall. So I decided to settle on watching Bones. Emily Deschanel. I noticed she does the same lip thing as her sister Zoe. So cute. So cute. Runs in the family. Forensic science is how everything should be done in life. And yet psychology has infiltrated everything to destroy it. It's entered into our government to provide a false dichotomy choice for elections. Only MAGA or the deep state Dems. You may say you want to be Russian rather than vote Democrat, but you're actually voting to become MAGA. False dichotomy. It's fallacy. We are not even supposed to be doing this in the Constitution. Somebody botched it. Somebody's illiterate. And so in our legal system, yep, psychology are all of a sudden expert witnesses. And then bypassing due process rights with drug courts and mental retarded courts for psychology. They're giving them authority to lock people up in concentration camps and torture them, just like Nazis did to the Jews. In fact, that's where we got the psychologists from. And so, if you're familiar with Who Moved My Cheese, which was the official publication for businesses at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, all their employees had to receive the book and shove it up their mousetrap. Yeah, in the book, I was there. I got the book too. It's pure satanic literature. Dear God. You have the psychologists who run the experiments torturing little rodents. And if you didn't know, psychologists say that people who torture little animals and rodents and stuff are criminally psychotic and need to be locked up and put into the care of a psychologist. And yet, it's the psychologists who are doing it. Hilarious, if it weren't so evil. And so, this torturing of mice, denying them food, is supposed to be applied to employees. Yep, so that businesses can say, hey, we're the corporation, no check for you, deal with it. We're transferring you to another department, deal with it. We're laying you off, deal with it. That's exactly what it is. It's depriving people, employees, of basic needs for their life. They're working for you so that they can have a life. And this book by a psychologist, I think it's actually two, who torture little rodents, is telling employers to screw over your employees. And so the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints gave it to all their employees. The evils of psychologists. Family Services is the church's wing of psychology to abuse and torture Mormons. And the Strengthening Church Members Committee are involved in torturing Mormons who dare ask questions about the church, to send them to Family Services, or if they've been raped by a bishop and married priesthood holder, they get sent to Family Services and drugged as mentally retarded. How dare you? And medical profession. Yep, medical profession. Symptom management, mental care, refusing to look for the causation of the medical condition and say that it's all in a person's head. That would be a nightmare. What other scientific field? Sociology. It's supposed to be a collection of real statistical data, not poll data of small sampling fallacy. And so when you get poll data merged with sociology, then it destroys sociology. It's no longer a valid field to study. You got to find out the factual, measurable stats, not the opinions of the town. How many of you recognize yourself as members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? No. You use the membership stats to determine how many are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That's the big difference. That could easily be explained for you. And so every voting season, we just had it, the news before the election took place was doing poll data about who's going to win the election. Well, you find out who wins by a straight count of the votes, not an AI algorithm count. Right, YouTube? And so, yes, algorithms are psychologically based. They're projections. And they're even used as commercials are used to convince people to buy their product, do this, choose that, to have you give up your agency to them, rather than you choosing how you're going to live your life. And then the news. Psychology has destroyed the news. They no longer present the evidence of the scene of the news story they're covering. It's now reaction videos, response videos, poll data, opinion panels, talking about getting factual information from a news source is extremely difficult to obtain these days. And so, yeah, psychology has utterly destroyed everything. And so with religion, you have the same situation. Emotivism. Where Mormons say they have a spiritual witness feeling that the Book of Mormon is true, and they are incapable of giving you factual information based on evidence. They dismiss the evidence, they dismiss science, they dismiss the actual words from the Book of Mormon. When the Bible, and likewise the Book of Mormon that plagiarized the Bible, with some extra stuff, says that you liken a word unto a seed, and then you get the results of the word, which is referred to as fruit. That's science. That's a scientific process. And so this emotivism is a spiritual witness feeling. And everybody has their own feelings based on their experiences and their beliefs, and thus response to their beliefs of their experiences. And everybody is unique in that respect. So thus psychology, by categorizing human behavior, is a fraud. Can't be done. They're doing outward judging, using bullying tactics for name calling to convince you that you've got a problem. Alcoholics Anonymous. No. A higher power? Really? You're going to blame the alcohol and call it a disease, are you? And so yes, everybody who drinks alcohol knows in advance what alcohol will do to their bodies. And they still do it anyway, and then when they get busted for some kind of crime, they then blame the alcohol or the other woman or whatever. Psychology at work. And so it's involved in religion. You know, without psychology, it was already in existence, thanks to the first creed of Christianity. Because what they have pulled, what he pulled, Constantine pulled, was a big con on humans to attack the Jews. He, in the first creed, told everybody gathered there that they have to give up their religion. They no longer can believe what they believe. Constantine created one religion, and everybody else is out. And they have to conform and comply. And so a new God was created. Didn't exist before, because again, everybody had to give up their religion, which was their interpretation of Jewish scriptures. And Christians deceive people by claiming that the book of Matthew is Christian, that the Old Testament is Jewish, and yet turned it Christian, because the first creed says that the Jewish scriptures are now literal history. And so the Jewish scriptures that the Christians compiled into their collection of New Testament, still Jewish, not literal history. None of those characters are real. Herod's real, wrong time period, if you're going to claim that it was the 25th of December, 1 CE, when Jesus was born, raped mother of a dove. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is more real, because Heavenly Father comes from outer space and rapes his 14-year-old daughter. Psychology. Fallacy arguments. And it wasn't that long ago that they did away with Aristotelian logic. Logical Socratic methodology from the Greeks. It was still being utilized in the Roman period, but Constantine, with his first creed, put an end to it. It destroyed the Greek documents. And so the Enlightenment period is when scholars found the Greek documents and all about logic and stuff, and thus went into producing the Reformation movement, the destruction of Christianity, fulfilling the Nebuchadnezzar dream, statue, prophecy interpreted by Daniel. The iron feet mingled with clay. Sorry, Christians, you're not true. So says the Jew who wrote the book of Daniel. And so it's the Jewish Christ. And so the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, by claiming it's all Christian with Jesus, likewise is lying to Mormons with this psychological manipulation of denying science and truth, not running the test of seed to produce the fruit. Spiritual witness feeling puts a stop to that. No producing of fruit, you just accept and believe and you get the right feeling. But the problem comes when people get different feelings about contradictions. And so, in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, there are numerous contradicting feelings, and so Mormons, dismiss other people as wrong, and their spiritual witness feeling is the one true spiritual witness feeling. And so the biggest example is 1 Nephi chapter 1 verse 2. It says in the text, it's Jewish. Pre-Babylonian captivity, to be precise. And yet, because Spencer W. Kimball put another testament of Jesus Christ, Mormons only read, ponder, and pray that and get the spiritual witness feeling that it's true, and so they don't bother to read over 1 Nephi chapter 1 verse 2. It's whitewashed as Christian, just as Constantine did to the Jewish scriptures. And Mormons don't see it. Mormons don't care to see it. I'm the enemy for exposing them. And so Mormons ignore the Jewish Christs in 2 Nephi chapter 3. They'll admit it's Joseph, but not as the Jewish Christ. Because it's Jesus. It's all about Jesus. No. And so they see Jesus in 3 Nephi 11. See, we're Christian. Heavenly Father raped his 14-year-old daughter to produce rape baby Jesus. Church is true. And the consequences of this are what produces criminal behavior. This is psychology at work. The evils of psychology produces criminal behavior. And so in the state of Utah, for example, all this year, the year in review for Utah would be about psychologist after psychologist after psychologist after psychologist after psychologist after psychologist who are getting busted, going to prison, committing crimes and rapes and abuses. And yet the church is still fighting against it to promote psychology, forcing the news to promote psychology. So, it's a real simple thing, and yet Mormons are incapable of thinking for themselves. They get caught in the fallacy trap of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and they don't even know that it's not even a religion. It's an impersonation fraud. There are federal laws that forbid doing fraudulent activities and false statements. And when you understand the real history of Brigham Young's religion, the United States exposed that Brigham Young did not incorporate a church until 1852. All he did was take his Danite followers and flee the United States of America to this valley. And it wasn't until after he called for his converts to join him in the war against America that stole his land when Mexico seceded. And thus why the wall of Mormons that were sent north and south. But that's when he decided to officially declare polygamy for all, minus the Nicolaitan banned sexual abuses that were practiced in secret to destroy Joseph's church. God. But also telling everybody that Adam is our Heavenly Father. And so, yeah, replace Heavenly Father with Adam, who rapes his 14-year-old literal history billionth granddaughter. Billionth great-granddaughter. And so incorporated without Mormons knowing about it, because they already believed they were a religion. The Danites went out and told them it's the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and this is another testament of Jesus Christ. We're Christian. And so after Joseph is dead, they only know the church by the name that Brigham Young and his convert or missionaries gave it to, just as it is done now. And so when he put out the call to have them come to Zion, they came. They didn't go to Sidney Rigdon, didn't go with Emma, didn't go with others. They only knew the one religion. And then Brigham Young incorporated a religion when they came. They were not a religion until then. And the church lies to you and says that Brigham Young either was instantly the president upon Joseph's death, or by a vote in the winter quarters, or here in the valley at a conference vote. Or no, it was 1852, United States. They dissolved the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, revealing that it was incorporated in 1852. Brigham Young had lied to Mormons, and also shut down the Perpetual Immigration Fund. And so the church, as a religion, ceased to exist after John Taylor. So Wilford Woodruff is not the president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, as official declaration number 1 leads Mormons to believe. Verse 11 is hilarious. As a result, we would never deceive you. God would smite us down if we deceived you. And yes, the curse of Joseph Smith does apply. The God of Joseph Smith does indeed smite down every single president of Brigham's fake religion, criminal operation. And so Heber J. Grant secretly incorporated the corporation. And in that Articles of Incorporation, he says that the corporation is to make money off of the dissolved religious group that was formerly called the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They have no authority for decisions or votes. They have no powers whatsoever. And by doing this, he continues to perpetuate the lie, since Wilford Woodruff, that members are a religion, an organized religion, never to be taken from the earth, neither the priesthood either. Nope. And so as a result, every single lay minister is not legally authorized as a lay minister, because the corporation is a corporation, not a religion. Nobody has authority in this church. This church is a fraud according to the laws of the land. We believe in being subject to kings, presidents, rulers, and magistrates, and obeying, honoring, and sustaining the law. Oops. This corporation never follows the law. They want their kingdom back, and they're going to murder people and coup governments to get it back. And so yes, all of your marriages are null and void. None of the sealers in the temples, nor the bishops, if you are a naughty couple, are authorized to marry. Going on missions, none of us were authorized. And so there are crimes now that are being committed against us, and we ourselves are being forced to commit crimes. The payment of tithing is the big culprit in all of this, because it's forced upon us in the worthiness interviews. We cannot do things as Mormon unless we pay up. We can't save our dead unless we pay up. They have no authority as a religion, yet we're still forced to pay the church to save our dead. Marriage, nope. You have to pay. You cannot have sex. You can't even think about sex. You can't even feel sex when your cycle comes around, because that is sin and it's of the devil. You need to pay the church not to do any of that. And then pay the church to marry only a Mormon girl which she could be as low as 16 at BYU when she gets married. Take that, Matt Gaetz. And so every single Mormon is prostituting their spouse. Because it's not just men who pay tithing, but women insist on working too, and so they are prostituting their husbands. And when you include BYUs with people coming from other states, marrying people from other states and countries, like my first, sex trafficking. Because this is not a religion. They are not authorized to license lay ministers. This is a complete, utter fraud perpetuated on Mormons and the world, and our government, and world governments. And so IRS fraud is a major thing going on. The stock market, SEC, there's more than just the one you got them for. They had over 3 dozen, multiple dozens of, it's only 3 dozen plus for the Book of Mormon plagiarisms, but the church corporations are like 5 or 6 dozen different sources of revenue. And so, yeah, it's a whole long list of $5 million payments for SEC violations that the SEC didn't bother to further investigate. So, because the first presidency came out with their official statement on that and said, yeah, we do this with every single thing we do. And that's what they got busted for the Ensign Peak advisors for tithing alone. And they say they do it with all of them. And yet. So yeah, they're pulling a fast one on the government. They're hoarding lots of money for the big coup event, which could be Wednesday, could be New Year's, maybe because Trump won, that they're not going to do it now. That they're just going to let Trump do his thing when he takes office. That's a possibility. You are listening still, right? I don't want to hear people on the 26th of December going, why didn't nukes fall on Christmas, Travis? It's not me. It's the church. I just know it's going to happen. I've already seen the precursor. Had somebody comment, there was no shout out at church. It was just a Christmas sacrament. I told you, the first 2 have to happen. And if they don't happen, there will be no shout out to Mormons to come to Zion. The fall and the transfer of authority must happen before the Exodus and the building of Zion. And if the first 2 don't happen, there will be no Exodus, there will be no Zion. I've made that very clear repeatedly. I'm talking about war game strategizing. So, alrighty, that's pretty much it. And so, yeah, the other crimes are involved, missionaries. It's a pyramid scheme. Because they're not authorized to go out on missions, first of all. And so it's just regular people who are going out having to pay for the kit and the clothing to go to the mission field. And then they recruit other people to pay tithing to the church. Pyramid scheme 101. Every Mormon does it. Except for me, because my parents paid. They get a double whammy because they paid for their missions and then paid for mine. Take that for the way you treated me growing up. Hilarious. Hilarious. So, alrighty, and so yeah, if I have to narrate the video clips, if you can't figure them out, here it is at the end. Matt Gaetz has been busted by the House committee, found to be guilty of paying for sex, including a 17-year-old girl. And she was even taken out of state, so it's actually sex trafficking. And so it's statutory rape that's involved with that, because sex was involved with the payment. And so, yes, that's what the church does. With 16-year-old girls to 17-year-old girls going to BYU and getting married. Yeah, statutory rape. With or without the parents' consent, because the parents are already compromised to the church, paying the church money for their prostitution. And so if they give consent as compromised individuals, no, it's null and void. They are not in a position to give consent to prostitute their daughters. So, nope, nope, nope. And then the other one is Panama Canal. Trump did a turning point rally the other day, over the weekend, Sunday, Saturday, whatever, in which he said that he's going to take back the Panama Canal. Take back Panama Canal. Anybody want to know why? Apparently the news forgot, and they were the ones that used to cover it, because I've got the news clips that covered it, as you already saw. Ivanka! That was her Trump Tower, and Panama took it away from her. And so now that Trump is coming back, of course he's going to get back his Trump Tower. That's what it's all about. It has nothing to do with the canal other than for Trump Tower, that he's getting back and putting Ivanka back in charge of it again. Hello? It's about as ridiculous as everybody not recognizing in the Egyptological field that Luxor, as Wasset, is Bethlehem, the house of bread. And yet the news is already talking about Bethlehem being opened up during the Gaza war for Christians to celebrate the birth of Jesus. Egypt. That's where the prophecy and revelation of the Jews came from. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. We might be able to put this up tonight. Fun.